Hello and welcome to the Smart Trades Basics course video. For other products or to view the rest of this course for free and download the transcripts or any of the PowerPoint slides that go with this video, go to www.smarttrade.info. Today, as part of the Smart Trades Basics course, we are going to be going over some more concepts that you need to understand in order to trade options. These concepts are really important for you to gain a better understanding of the different strategies you can use with options. Okay, the next few things we are going to be covering in this module are going to be the intrinsic value and time value or extrinsic value in options. The intrinsic value is the amount by which the option is in the money, and the time value is the remaining portion of an option's price that is in excess of the option's intrinsic value. That is the technical definitions of these words. We will now look at some examples that will help you to understand what these numbers are. Okay? To calculate the intrinsic value of a call option, you simply subtract the strike price from the stock price. In the above case, if you take the 99-cent strike price and then subtract the stock price of $99.09, that equals its intrinsic value. It has an intrinsic value at the moment this was downloaded of 9 cents. And the time value for the stock, the $2.93 premium paid for the option contract minus the intrinsic value of 9 cents, which equals $2.84. It is very important for you to have a good handle on these numbers. A lot of the strategies you will learn take advantage of time value and intrinsic value. So you need to be able to determine these numbers to take full advantage of the strategies. So we will look at another example. But one other note I want you to realize is that the option must be in the money to have any intrinsic value. If the option is out of the money, the intrinsic value would be 0, and the time value would be the amount of the premium that you paid for the option. At a quick glance, you should be able to tell that this $91 strike price is in the money. Why? Because remember, a buyer of a call option has the right to sell the underlying security for the strike price, which in this case is $91. Notice that the stock is selling for $92.18 in the market. That means there is an immediate value to owning this right to buy for $91. The immediate intrinsic value for this call option is calculated by taking the stock price minus the strike price. Okay, so if you notice at the top of the screen, the immediate benefit of this option is $1.18 per share. Now, before you get too excited, you have to realize that you had to pay a premium for this option, which in this case is the ask price, because you are buying the call option. For this example, we are going to take the exact ask price of $1.56. The immediate benefit to owning this stock is only $1.18. So the remaining portion of the premium paid is the option's time value. So notice, by taking the premium paid of $1.56 and subtracting the intrinsic value of $1.18, you get a time value of 38 cents. Before we move on to put options, I would recommend to you that for practice on calculating these values, you take the rest of the chart and calculate them. It is just for practice. The more you do something, the easier it gets to calculate. After lots of practice and repetition, you should be able to calculate these numbers at a quick glance. But that requires you to practice, practice, and more practice. Now we are moving on to the put options on this side. Okay, remember, a put option is the right to sell for a certain strike price. So for an option to be in the money, it requires you to be able to sell the underlying security for more than you could on the market. So notice that the $91 and $92 strike prices for the put options are out of the money because there is no immediate benefit to owning them. So for this example, we are going to calculate the two values for the $94 strike price. So to get to the intrinsic value of the put option, we have to take the strike price minus the stock price. Notice that having the right to sell the stock for $94 rather than the going price of $92.18 has an immediate value of $1.82. Now, to get the right, you had to pay the premium of $2.06. Remember, because you are the buyer, you are paying the ask price. So you have to take the premium paid minus the intrinsic value to get the put option's time value. So when you take the premium of $2.06 and subtract the intrinsic value of $1.82, you get a time value of 24 cents. Again, I would encourage you to go down the chart and do the same things with each of the put numbers in the put side as practice for getting these values. The more you practice, the easier it will become.